Is the video loading for you guys? Is the video loading for you at all? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, hi everyone. I'm Matthew. I do the PR stuff, the support stuff, some design stuff, mainly like UI design. What you're seeing right here is some of the icons uh, that I've been working on for one of the weapon submenus. Um, to start off, like some of these stuff you see here are kind of like roughly drawn first by Ryan, and what I'll do is I'll render in vectors. So these little things are actually just like lines, and they're just made so you can like scale them up and down without losing the quality. And as you can see, like if I just like push Y, you can see these are all just like lines here. You notice I have all these little spacers right here, and they're all about like 3 pixels, I believe. Oh, no, they're like 1.5 pixels, and they're meant to kind of establish like a standard space that you have in between each of these elements. And what that does is it kind of keeps things really uniform. So you'll see like in these little gaps right here, I have the same amount of negative space as well. And something else you'll notice is a lot of these shapes are kind of the same. And what you do is you kind of just reuse different shapes, so it keeps everything really consistent, and that makes it like a lot more clean. So stuff like this, I mean, it still needs to be like touched up a bit. Like these little corners right here probably need to be a little bit more round. I'm going to fix that right now, actually. And something new in Adobe Creative Cloud in Illustrator is that you can kind of round off corners. That little node thing, if you can see it, it's white. So that's really cool. That makes things a lot easier. Some of these shapes would have been a lot easier to work with and make had I had this update come sooner, but you know, whatever happens, I mean, we just like have to work with it. So like this right here, let me just bring up this right here. Okay, so this shape right here is I had to like use a bunch of circles, and I would have normally like got a bunch of circles in each of these corners and just like subtracted out the circles, but now I could have just grabbed each of these corners, double clicked on here, and switched up settings so that I can make these radiuses around the same. I think they're like 10. So that's how that works, and that makes it really easy to quickly change a bunch of stuff. You'll notice something else is a lot of these things aren't like solid shapes yet. So like normally I would actually like merge everything together once they're actually done. But if there needs to be some kind of adjustment, I try to like not lose any data that could be pertinent. I can't find any right now, an example, but oh, 1 second. Maybe I did merge these. Oopsie. That's not a big deal though. They're not hard to make. So you notice like some of these things have the same like shape as well. Like this is basically a handle, but I found a way to kind of like stretch it out so it still feels consistent with everything else. And something that's a little trick is if you plan to get rid of something really soon, like, and if it's just like used for spacing, you just use the same color, and then you can just like select all of them and delete them. And that's what I'll do like whenever I actually like completely finish with all these icons. So change the same fill color, and I could just delete these at the end, and that'll be it. It's pretty easy. The other reason I use that black is because I could take off this background and see how they actually look by turning off that originals layer that shows what's going on, how it's supposed to look. So that's nice, and it'll make things really easy, and I can just switch back and forth and see how it needs to look as opposed to how it actually looks. And I actually already I can see like this probably needs a little bit more space, because when I zoom out, what's going to happen is these parts right here will start to blend together, and that won't work very well, especially whenever we have to transpose this to like the iPhone versions later on. So yeah, I might fix that later actually. So another thing I've been working on, let's see, something you guys haven't seen before are these little icons, which they're ammo, which they kind of like correspond to each like weapon type. So you would like pick up these things and they would like replenish like uses. So that's pretty useful. And like what Ryan had to do is he kind of made these illustrations that kind of show what each of these ammo pickups would look like, and then there's an icon that corresponds to them. So this is for the slash and pierce, and then I had to make a simplified version, one that would be used in the weapons menu, which I'll show you in a bit. And we try to keep them really simple, and try to keep them like as inobtrusive as possible as well. So like one thing we always focus on is like the shape. Each of these things have to look very different, even at a distance. So if I zoom out, you can see like these all they look completely different. And the other thing is we kind of use like color to make a good contrast between them as well. So that helps keep things really simple and keep it really concise and well ordered without the throughout the whole design scheme. Let's see. So this is something a lot of people haven't seen yet. I made these icons as well to go along with this submenu that we're adding soon-ish. So every time like you see a weapon, like you'll every time you look at a weapon stats, like you'll see each of these things right here. So these will be filled with like damage types, and that pink is just like a placeholder to show like scale and like where each of the elements are supposed to go. So you see those weapon icons, they're also right here, as well as the ammo that it takes. So that'd be cool. That'll keep things really simple, but not overbearing for the viewer. You can see right here we have this banner that indicates what tier you have, as well as the how much it's worth. And some of this stuff might change based on like if we think it's like necessary, but like the damage per second might actually change to something else. Something big is like this design scheme has actually kind of been changed up, and you'll notice this entire UI is actually completely different than what it used to be. So yay, that's going to be exciting. Once we get that updated, it'll look really nice. See. So also with these things, Ryan kind of like, as I was going, I was kind of designing some of the stuff, and Ryan would kind of add some other suggestions and things to keep things really organized. So you'll see like some of the stuff is like kind of drawn in really quick, but just to give you an idea of what to do. And he actually just drew in like these little icons here as well to explain like the basic shape. And what I did is I actually brought those back into the icon file that I was in earlier, and then kind of like made them consistent with the rest of the stuff I've done with the weapon icons. So notice as well, like you'll see like a difference in between like the tiers, and if something is like better statistically with something else, then like it'll tell you. But that's always up to you, because you might want something to be like really fast but not necessarily powerful, because you're like a rogue type or something. Let's see. So the other thing is, like we talked about before, that we had the proficiency stuff. So like certain classes have particular weapons that they're good at and they're bad at. So like these things will always change. So like we have different tiers that the classes will have to rely on, or that you might just like have to temporarily use, but you'll at least know that like eventually this thing is going to break, and it breaks at a faster rate based on your class. So that's pretty cool. Ryan actually went through like a lot of iterations to change those icons as well, but like as you can see, like it's never just like one shot. Like we're never just like, okay, like I guess this is good enough, but like for the most part it's kind of like a build up, and okay, like what can change, what can be simplified, what can be made a little bit more clear, and that's how we kind of brought up like this part right here. So I actually wanted to show you a process of something else you haven't seen. Let's see, where did you go? Oh, actually, before that, with all those the changes we made in any like things that are kind of set in stone, which I'll show you like some of the stuff isn't. We'll have to change it again. Was the UI assets. So like any of the stuff that I've changed that needs to be like updated will go into this, and like the other graphic designer will have to change some stuff within like the booklet that you guys will get later on. So like this thread right here is actually about to change, and I'm going to show you some of the things we're going to do. Okay, so this is for the skill tree. We kind of had some rough ideas earlier that we just like drew up and just kind of like vectorized it and made it like look how it probably would look in the game. You notice that this was getting really busy, and if you kind of stack these together, it's kind of complicated and there's a lot to look at like in one little bit. And if you're like on the iPhone, that's going to be really difficult to see. Another thing is like kind of consider the fact that we wouldn't really need anything else besides like that key. So I've kind of designed around that key shape and how it's kind of turned in one side, or kind of turned like, I guess it'd be 45 degrees, I don't know. So we simplified that down. I wanted to show like how they would connect together. If there was like different like paths you could take on the tier, but like once again, like you can see, it gets a little bit busy. And some of the stuff in here isn't really that necessary because it's just like theoretical. We just want to use the icons to show like what the scale would be. So this one marked is the one we kind of settled on the design, which once again I'm going to show you we're going to change in a second based on some other changes that you haven't seen yet. You kind of went with this straight thing because you can kind of stack them up, and some of them might be like class specific. So like this could be something like that you don't know, like okay, it could be like a special perk like +5 like attack or something like that, but then there would be like extra tiers within, it's just like a classic skill tree. So right here is the design iterations for when I was kind of like developing how to do these little slider things for the options menu, which I know a lot of people have probably been waiting up on. What I wanted to do is try to make them a little bit more contrasting and like make it not so loud. So like right here, you notice it's really like sharp and a little bit obnoxious when it's overlaying, and it needs to be simplified anyways because that's like 3 layers of data, so it'd be weird. So like this could be in front, and that's what I'm trying to go for. One of the things is in like this might look good like in here, but if you actually bring it into the demo right here, it's actually kind of hard to see. So we had to change that, so I was going to make it a little bit brighter. So, okay, so you can see right here, added a little bit more contrast, but then these things would have gotten lost as you could see them over here. And then we added a little bit more contrast as well here, but once again, it needs to be like brightened overall. So eventually I just took some colors from the palette and ended up with something like this. As you can see, yeah, something like this is easy to see, and like it's not like obnoxious whenever you're trying to like look through the menus and stuff, and it's not like you can see it like without like any trouble. So if I take off like this little tinting thing, like now you can actually see like it works in either situation, so that's a good sign. Put that back now. And then I also have like a backup just in case like it takes too long to like make like a slider thing. Like I know we can do it, but like I just wanted to have like a more simple thing as well. So this works as well, and also gamma is not a thing. I just theorizing really. So you can see like this works, and you can see that this is maybe a little bit more simple, and you can at least see like exactly where the where the volume is, or whatever it is that you have that for that data. So right here, in comparison, they're kind of like, they're basically the same thing, but I just wanted to keep it like simple. Now, I guess I should probably group those eventually. So yeah, like this is like a little bit more easy to see if you were to like on an iPhone or something like that. But this is also nice just because it kind of shows a progression going on there instead of just being like one set point, and it's possible to do it anyways. Okay. So I'm actually going to change this now. So you can see I changed the style of these little boxes. And that's not going to work right now. So first I need to change this stroke. And I have to change these out here as well. So I'm going to grab all of these. And I've collected like a lot of the colors that we use frequently throughout the entire game. 1 second on that. Okay. So that one's been changed, and then I'll change these as well. Which actually, now that I think about it, these got to be... Yeah, I have a better idea. Nah, I mean, I'm just making it more difficult than I have to. Okay. And this is going to change in color, and so is this, but like not quite yet because I'm still not entirely sure like how well that contrasts. No, I'll keep that just for a second, just to see what it looks like. Okay, so like you might not be able to see it right now, but when you see it actually in the screen, it'll be a lot more clear what's going on here. Okay, so now you can see that this is actually a lot more easy to see in game. So that'll be useful. And let's just test it out with if we had like a few of our level ups used already on that particular spot. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty clear what's going on now, so that's good. And it actually like does really well against the background. So let's see it in more contrasty looking background. Yeah, and it's okay. You could use a little, probably like some more like contrast, but there's probably some stuff we'll do to make it so it's easier to see like into that particular menu. Okay. I think I'll change that too. Yeah, that looks good. So that'll be like the updated version of that particular element in game. Okay. So back to that one menu we were in earlier, or that one one file. Where'd you go? There we go. So I need to add this into here because it's the new version of this stuff right here. And if it changes, then I have to like, I'll just like re-upload it for use for everyone else. Okay. So back to this home screen, I'm going to save that really quick. Let me turn off some of these layers, and this will give you an idea of what the home screen is going to look like whenever you get into the game. Let's see. Turn that tinter on there. Okay. So like this is like not like finished at all, but what we're trying to do is kind of like keep it simple, because like after doing a lot of research, like I used to think that like some of this stuff had to be like really like extravagant and like really like flashy and stuff, but that's actually like not true. Like a lot of home menus are pretty simple, so it's kind of trying to stick with that same look, especially since the new in-game UI is like really like simplified as well. So for consistency's sake, it just makes sense. So like a lot of this stuff is going to change. These aren't like actual menus right now. Like the main one will be like the login, the new campaign, resume campaign, and then like your player mode, which a lot of these things will actually go underneath one player mode. So it's like a slider, so you like go left or right, and then it changes like whatever mode you're on, and then you can just start the game, and then it works accordingly. And if you like go into here, like it's going to bring you to the credits and stuff. Like you guys will see like those backer names at the end of this list. Yeah, I also want to use the heart from the actual game, because a lot of them, like I know like some games like Legend of Zelda use the heart and stuff to like indicate when it's like something's like a pointer, but it kind of looks nice, I think. It's just, I don't know, it just seems like you should just like use another like asset from the game itself, and it makes it just seem like really at least consistent. Other than that, do you guys have any questions also? Okay. I guess for now, what I'm going to do really quick is do what? Okay. Okay, so on this home screen thing, I think I'm just going to like maybe even things out based on like what the categories are actually supposed to be. So let's see. Okay. So it's looking like some of this stuff is going to have to come out because it's not really necessary. Okay. Something I have to take into account, like, yeah, there's like a lot of space like on either side of this, but we also have to take into account, or even like on the left side, like, or the right side of these stuff right here, like the thing I have to take into account is like language changes. So even in the, see that submenu, like we have to add a lot of space to the right, because in a language like, I don't know, like German, like it could be like a really long word for whatever we have here. So we need to make that clear that there's space, and we're planning ahead for something like that, because it just makes things really messy, because like what happens is like something right here would start like overlapping everything else because it's like a long word. So it's just like, careful planning. So what's probably going to happen on some of these things is we're going to have them like stacked on top of each other. So like this music thing is going to be, oh, wrong one, 1 second. Okay. Oh, apparently I did have these grouped together. Oh, I was using the selector tool. I always catch myself doing that. Okay. So one of these things would be SFX. Another one of these things would be one sec. I keep thinking I'm holding down Option. Maybe I'm not. There we go. Okay, so this one would probably be like voiceover. Now, since these all are like grouped together, I can kind of get them a little bit closer. And what I'll do is I'll kind of optimize the space pretty quick. Normally I do this more to like a grid because it kind of gets messy whenever you do things optimized. Let's see. Okay, there. So that's a little bit better. Which even then, that seems a little. I guess it's because things a little bit. It's kind of a large body of text, so it would be a little bit. I think I'm going to move it to the bottom actually. There we go. So a few options we'll have to add is as well as the how to like clear your campaign and then how to reset the profile. It'll just be like a little like option that you just click on and then like that'll be it. Okay, and then the other thing is like, okay, so what you're seeing here is like all front end stuff. It's just the graphics and it's just kind of like the look of how it's supposed to be. But what I have to do is actually have to like plug in the image files to this, and then in XML I have to look at all the tags that Kobe has, and I'll have to use those to direct like what's going on. So this right here is going to have its own tag, like this entire section, like this little bar will have its own tag, and then this like thing will have its own tag that's underneath this because this is the parent of this right here. If you've done any like web design, you know, like about like using HTML and you have to like nest things inside each other. So like this will be nested inside of this likely, I think. I have to ask Kobe about that actually. Pretty sure though. Let's see. And the other thing is, I don't know if we've talked about it before, but there's these 9 anchor points that. Is it 9 or is it 9 anchor points? I can't remember. On the screen, Kobe?
What?
It's 9 anchor points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So like there'd be these 9 anchor points that you'd have on the sides of the screens. And each of these little sets of elements that we have, like the menu would actually be anchored onto each of these points. And that's how we're able to like dynamically change the size of the screen up to a point where where like it actually like shrinks the screen itself. Which is why I have to be like really careful about how much space I'm putting between these negative spaces, because if it's going to shrink the entire thing in the entire screen, then it makes it so I have to it can like make a lot of this negative space get lost and it just looks bad, like it's a mistake. Sorry, there's one more. So you'd see these like these points in here. There'd be one in the middle too, but on the sub menu, let me get that really quick. Okay, so in the sub menu, you can see like everything's kind of like set to one of those points. So this one's going to be in the anchor point right here, and everything's kind of a child of that parent, which is that anchor point. So like that's it. Kind of goes for all of these things, and they actually like sometimes don't look like they are like parented to like maybe this one, but they're actually like on like a negative y-axis right here. So these things will also be, I'm sorry, there'll actually be like two of these things, and this is something really cool. Um, okay, so like if you see a weapon, you'll see like a comparison of what you have equipped and then what you have, what you're like holding or like looking at. So like there'll be this like little, I don't know, say like this is what you're holding or something. I'm pretty sure it's actually going to be pointing down here, but just for like this sake, say there's this weapon here, it's in front of you. We'll have this little pointer thing that's going to come out and it kind of just stretches that spot. Let me make this solid because I'm sure you guys can't see that very well. 1 second. Okay. So we kind of like point at them. And what that does is it helps you like make a decision of what weapons you want to switch out or what things are better for what your circumstances are. So these stats will be dependent on, well, this one right here will be dependent on like what's in front of you or what you're like about to pick up, and then this one will be like what's equipped, I believe. Is that right?
Sorry, I didn't catch the question.
Just that this one on the right is going to be corresponding to the thing that you're holding, and then, or not what you're holding, what's in front of you, and then what's.
Oh yeah, and you'll be able to compare things in your inventory as well. So you can basically, it's like you'll be comparing what's selected to what is either like on the ground or in your primary hand.
Yeah.
By the way, I just slacked you a screenshot of the assassin.
Oh my god, yes. Okay. Yeah, so I have something really cool to show you guys. I don't know. Well, I think I want to post it on the forums really quick, and then like I'll just like link you guys to it if you're here. But I think you guys will enjoy it because it's something you haven't seen yet. Also, just to explain, like whatever you see like in here is kind of based on like a radius around your character. So like it won't like activate until you're in that vicinity, then you have to push a button, and then that'll say like, okay, like now I want to compare these two. Okay, 1 second. Oh my god, that's so awesome. Also, once again, like, does anyone have any questions? Like, because I'm, all eyes, because apparently I can't hear you. Okay. Okay. I guess I don't understand what that is. That are you asking? Is that what the value is of the item? Or are you asking like? And yeah, I apologize. Also, like I might not see your question, or like you might not see like the answer for like a 30-second delay because that's it's Twitch. Okay. Under the tier listing, yeah, that's just like a dummy value right there. Like there's actually, I mean, what it is I was just using zeros because they take up the most space of that typeface, of all the numerals. So like each of these things will have a different value, but like obviously tier 9 is going to be worth a lot more than 0 because it's tier 9. But just for demo purposes, because I have to see how much space that it could possibly take up with 6 characters in there. once again, I am sending a link to you guys actually really quick. Just gotta find it. Okay. And Baker is clarifying that that's like sell value specifically. So, yeah, if you find like a shop, that will be something you can rely on for getting yourself some guilt. Not guilt. Dang it! I have to stop telling myself it's not guilt. Okay. Yes, there is actually. It's pretty awesome. Like there's a ton of weapons actually. Just like if you look at some of the variables and everything kind of changes. Like it's insane. Like how many different types of things you can. Yes, insane. I'm gonna get that link for you, I promise, guys. So give me a second. All right, so go to the very bottom of that link and you'll see something pretty cool. Oh. Yeah, the link is weird though, so no, I'll just like send an image. That might make more sense. Or the link to the image. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's the number that Baker said a while ago, actually. Anyways, I can't get this thing to like link and show like the entire address. So like if you go there and go to the what's it called? It's called the official art thread. You'll be able to see something really cool. It's the assassin, which has been updated. So that's some awesome news. Haven't really gotten like an actual chance to look into it too much, but yeah, she looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to link, but that last little bit of the URL gets lost, so I'm not able to show it. Okay, that works for me. Okay, so give me a second. My computer's gonna lag for a second because I've dropped that image. Oh, that was a mistake. I know it. Oh, no, it's just... Let me try it this way. Come on. Oh, the joys of working on a live stream. Man, this thing does not like me. Okay. Or not. Okay, maybe it's showing now. There we go. All right, so that's what Baker just sent me. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I see like there's a lot more detail, and he's changed the perspective more, so it's like more top down because before it was more front. So that's a good improvement over everything else. I have to compare the old art style, but yeah, that's cool right here. I'm sure Baker will explain that later on for you guys as well. Let's see. I'm at. Let me see what Nathan's doing. Hey, did you want to jump in? Do what? He totally wants to. You can tell. Oh no, you don't. You don't have to log in. It's just the link was being weird. Like it would only like keep that first little bit of the link. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so is there any like questions anyone has when we like as far as like some stuff in here that I'm doing, or I don't know why I'm even here, or I mean, I'm somewhat watching the chat as much as I can. Boss says he won't make fun of you this time. Um, so does anyone have any questions about like what you're seeing here, like maybe further explanation? Because like some of these stats are, like we might change them, but for the most part they're kind of set in stone. So, and also if you didn't see on the, oh yeah, I can totally do that. Yeah, I can do that for you, boss. Um, 1 second. I totally have it with me right here. Yeah, so this is also pretty cool because in the old version, let me just add a little background there so you can actually see it better. Uh, okay, so in the old version you can see like there's not like as much depth, and he's moved that little well, it's like a face guard or a head guard instead of like on the face, so that's cool. Took out those. I guess they were daggers. I can't remember what they were. Um, but yeah, like the biggest thing is the perspectives changed like completely, so it actually looks more like there's more depth there, especially like in these little like. Well, they're not like breathing holes anymore, but like in these little like guard spots here. That's pretty cool. It's a lot more flowy. Let me just read the questions a bit. Oh, those 99 circles. Let me go back to those really quick. Those are the different damage types. So like these will be like a lot lower for the most part, especially for like the lower tiers. Um, but like each of the different types of each of the damage types will be in one of these, and they're just here to indicate the size of like how big those icons need to be in the finished version. Oh yeah, there's a lot, and that's not just the elements. That's like any type of damage type. So like there's like slashing, crushing, and stuff like that. I know you can't see them. We'll move these over really quick. Something you'll notice as well is like we actually changed the currency icon, so it's like more square, and it actually kind of looks like a stair step. So that's an interesting like double meaning behind it as well. Let's see, and you notice right here, this is actually this file was actually the one that Baker had before. So he was just working with a lot of different forms. We pretty much do the same like thing whenever we're like when we have a process of like building up a form and changing different things that might need to be a little bit tweaked. So the thing right here you can see is the new little bar thing, which he likes to call his Batman icon thing. What is it? Like it was like Batman UI. I don't know what you said. It was a while ago. Let's see. Yeah, I figured you'd say that, which makes me kind of sad. Would have been a cool Easter egg, but I guess not. Oh yeah, I just remembered. Part of like the design choices that we changed, especially with those little spinner things in the oh, where did they go? Well, I mean, I guess like here is and this is a perfect example for these not achievement, whatever the word is. A skill tree like nodes. Like a lot of it is based on like this little thing that he kind of like incorporated earlier because we were going for like a round thing at first, and then it seemed like it was almost like gothic or something, or like almost like it wasn't fitting into the universe. So like it's kind of been fine tuned to something similar to like some of the original ideas, but then it's more like sharper edges. Um, so that's like a lot of like where some of this stuff comes from now. Like you can see that in the where was that again? In the home screen where you see these things are kind of mimicking the form that you saw in the corner of the UI. And actually, I'll just copy this over and I'll show you and compare that really quick. Okay, so you can see, and these color schemes are also taken from there as well. So like it's just really meant to make it so it contrasts with the background because I mean if you choose something that's in some other like scenario, like I can't even remember like the different like areas of the game, like the different zones. But like if it had like a color that was close to something in a different area, then it would be really hard to see what was going on. You couldn't see this little icon, or you couldn't see this part right here when contrasted or when set up against the background. Um, also, these things right here, these numbers are indicating how many more uses it has. So like this has like 80 and 99 and stuff. And like I was explaining earlier, like these icons indicate your proficiency based on that particular class you have. So like if you have this, it's going to degrade less. But like if you have like this, it goes back to like the average. And then like if you're on this, then like it's just gonna fall apart whenever you start using it. Things like contraptions that like that the Harlequin uses are like not going to be useful for like a lot of the other classes because they don't really know. Like the Musketeer might have some like somewhat of a usability with it, but otherwise it's kind of like a thing like reserved for them. But that's just kind of just like an example though, because there's a lot of things like the Rogue would probably not be able to use like a lot of the heavier stuff as well. Same thing like with the Assassin. Oh, hi. Just checking for questions really quick. looks like Ryan's got a lot of these questions taken care of. Oh, something kind of cool we were talking about when it comes to like the tiers is in achievements that I haven't gotten to yet. Some of them might possibly be like related to like different classes. So like the Beastkeeper might have certain familiars that she can use based on like how much you've used a particular like other class. So like you might have like maybe like a more like magic based familiar, but that's if you've used like the elementalist or the sorcerer like quite a bit. So there'll be like achievements that can unlock like further stuff. Whereas like so that what that does though is it makes it so that you focus more on using more classes and getting more rounded, or like it just kind of like encourages more gameplay. Because like someone could just like grind through all this stuff and just get enough experience and like, okay, I guess I'll go to the next tier and then the next tier. But then if you make them a little bit more light on each other, that makes things a little bit more interesting and it mixes things up a little bit. Let's see. Once again, any questions? Like I'm trying to watch for the questions as much as possible. Oh, you might notice these shields were changed as well. So I kind of like these designs a lot better. Like, it's a lot cooler and it makes sense because it contrasts really well with the pinkish color. I actually want to see this really quick. Bear with me. I'm going to change this to white and see how well these contrast with each other. Like if you're like colorblind, this might be kind of important. I never got a chance to check that actually. Okay, so I'm going to set that to not multiply, to hue. So the shield is a little bit brighter, as you can see. Might add a little contrast later on, just for that consideration. Let me go to a different blending mode really quick. Color. Yeah, so it's going to be really... So we might add a little more contrast between these two, just because... like some of the... Well, the biggest thing is because I actually sourced some of these colors for like other things that I did, so... For safety, possibly add more contrast later on. Another thing about these little gradients you can see here is they have to do with like elemental like affinities. So like this might be like ice or something, and that's more of the indicator of what's going on. And that's not set in stone, but it's just to keep things simple and keep it clean. Let's see. Yeah, Baker's basically covered most of the questions, so that's nice. Let's see. Oh. So this text box is another thing I'm trying to think of a better way to do things, because we might need to make it so it doesn't like overlay, but like it'll probably be okay later. Where did that go? Something you might notice about this is this actually looks really complicated. Like there's a lot of layers we had to deal with to make this entire shape for the text boxes, which are used for the weapons UI as well. This looks like it's really complicated, but it's actually only a few shapes with some extra strokes added, because you can add these, obviously you can't see like these little options that I'm bringing up, but you can go to this appearance panel and you can add like strokes upon strokes upon strokes to one object, and it makes things a little bit more simpler and like easier to manage, because then like things could just get complicated whenever you have like layers upon layers of things on top of each other. So if I go to Command Y, you can see that this is actually a really simple shape. Some of the stuff I'm probably going to clean up, like right here. This is I don't know. It's just kind of messy. I mean, it might just get flattened out anyway, so I might not have to worry about it. Right here, I'm noticing right there. Yeah, I got to fix that really quick actually. So let me do that. here. I'll grab this point here as well. Okay, so once again, really awesome thing about the new Illustrator stuff is that I can take away or add points. All right, so actually, you know what? I think it's this one that's wrong. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so just grab one of these points. Did I lose it? Yeah, I did. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to double click on that and then add a little bit more. That's better. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so that's how that's supposed to be, and I'm going to go back to Command Y. And it's good to like look in like the line version of everything because you might not notice that things aren't actually lined up correctly. You might not notice all these things like below here, like I was showing a second ago, that these things are like kind of like messy stuff that you shouldn't be there in the end product. It doesn't always matter though, because sometimes with the Illustrator you're just gonna be exporting like a flat file anyways. Let me go back to that sub and we'll fix that there. Okay. I'm just gonna delete that really quick. And then that's weird. They're the same. Okay. Oh, that's right. Other thing that's kind of it's nice about the new Illustrator is like it'll also that's just a placeholder. Just I'm cleaning that up later. If you let me just show you actually. Okay, so this like corner editing thing that they added is really cool, but if you kind of change the shape just slightly, you'll lose the ability to make some like special edits. So if I go and do this, actually I want to do the flat corner, it might be easier to see. Okay, flat corner, I give it a 20. Okay. So now these can still be edited. I can like go in and out with these right here. But if I just ever so slightly, like, and this could happen by accident, if I just ever so slightly do that, and like stretch it a bit, then suddenly these have their own points. And what the heck? Okay. Yeah, I think it has to be like more extreme or something. But normally those angles get like kind of messed up. And no, there we go. So now you can see that there's all these extra points now, so that these angles are now independent of the other angles. Which sometimes you can use to your advantage, because like I could make like an interesting shape like with just this, and that's, I mean, obviously I have no idea what I would use that for, but like just something to be aware of whenever if you have Illustrator Creative Cloud. So I'm gonna check with Nathan really quick. Hey, are you able to do anything yet? Or are you still? Okay, cool. So pretty soon I'm gonna hand things over to Nathan so he can show you some of the cool stuff. Also, like whenever like we kind of like start pushing out stuff and like giving the wiki out to people, or like we'll allowing people like to go on the wiki and stuff. Like I'll provide with these icons for you so that you can like add them and plug them into different values if you need to, like make some custom changes and maybe make it a little bit more easy to understand on the wiki. So like these, I might even just like provide the art asset thing right there. Where'd you go? Yeah. So I'll probably like provide these with for you to use on the wiki, and the slash and these little icons here, and then probably the weapon icons as well. think I'm gonna scroll through here because I haven't really like let you guys see these so much. I probably should. So if you see anything you might want to ask a question about in here. Could I rebuild the block as the box as a template? I guess I don't understand what that means. Actually, I'm just going to mess with that really quick. Um, what wiki doc? Okay. This is something I had to fix earlier. You know, I'm going to fix these really quick while I'm waiting for Nathan. And you know what I'm going to do? I think these all need like maybe like 3, so what I'll just do is stack these on top of each other. It's not stacking the way I want it to. There we go. And then that's probably good there. Okay. Add that space. Okay. So now when I scale back, that's a little bit better, I think. Because otherwise, these two shapes right here would have just merged into one. Let's see. A speaker. Oh, yeah. That's for instruments. So like in another stream, like earlier during Christmas, we actually showed those. I think I had a uke or something, ukulele. Terrible with the instruments, just so you know. But yeah, that's for the instruments icon. So like that's the general like catch-all for all of those. Like it could be like a piano or guitar or something like that. Like, but they're all like that's like the catch-all for those. That's actually a really cool one. The tools. So that one would be probably used by the. I guess the contraptions. Is the contraptions up here too? Yeah, contraptions and like tools would likely be used by the Harlequin as a primary. Is it going to be open source? As in, like, is it going to be moddable? Which the answer is yes. Okay, yeah. So open source, no. Do what? Yeah. Kobe says the engine will be open source someday, but moddable is. Kobe says it's not a fragile system. Can I play a uke? No, I cannot. I don't know if I can. They're just so tiny. Tablets are like runes. Is that correct, Baker? Tablets are like runes, right? They saw the tablets icon and they're asking if that's like runes. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. You ready? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna jump off here and reset. Yeah. So you guys just like stay tuned in here, and like Nathan's gonna